Anybody can hear me? Okay, good. Now I know I'm supposed to go up to that podium and do this intro, but everybody that knows me knows I'm kind of scared of being in front of that podium, so I'm gonna chill over here. I wanna thank you all for coming to our seminar, Beauty and Brains. We decided to put this on because we wanted everybody to have more to their grid life besides parties. We wanted people to know that there's people all over that can teach you something. Every day we go through things where we learn from each other. So it's amazing to have people that take the time to teach us something. Because there's so many people doing new things on the grid, just business owners, period. And if we all get close to each other, if we all took the time to learn from each other, we could all be better. So we definitely appreciate your support. We thank you for supporting Miss Sugar today. We're definitely happy to have her here talking about this topic. We asked her, I said, okay, what you want to talk about, ma'am? You know, and she said love. And she definitely knows how to give it. She shares it, she spreads it. And she's been my personal person I've came to when I've had issues in that department. So I'm definitely knowing that she's going to give you all a great hour. Hopefully she don't go over. Please don't go over because I want to go home. But I'm just grateful that all of you guys came out to show support for her. We definitely appreciate that. And Miss Static, you can go ahead and take the stage. And thank you so much. You look beautiful in your pink. I hope you guys enjoy.
First of all, Candy, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I am nervous. You would not believe how nervous I am, and that's funny coming from me because I do a talk show and I do a blog talk show. I do a YouTube talk show, and I'm never nervous. But I think the reason why I'm nervous now is because this is something near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to speak a lot on about my real life. And I guess that's the reason why I'm nervous. First of all, I'm so happy that the Deltas did that. This is something that is really wonderful. Hopefully, we will get a lot more of this. As Candy said, it is so different. Then you always have to go and party. I'm so sick of parties, parties, parties. And something like this is something refreshing. It's something different, and it's something that means a lot to me. Let's take that word love. Whew, I'm so nervous. I had a really, really low self-esteem for a long time. And people who know me, when I tell them that, they can't believe it. But I really, really did. And it happened when I was only 6 years old. My grandmother raised me, and until I was 6, I always thought my grandmother was my mother because that's who she was to me. She was my strength, my power, my love, the figure that I always saw as my mother. So I used to call her mother. Now, there was always a picture of this beautiful chocolate-covered woman that was on the mantle. And my grandma used to always say, that's your mom. But of course, being 3, 4, 5, it didn't register that that's actually the woman who gave birth to me. So I just looked at her as just being, mom, maybe that was Grammy when she was younger. Although I didn't get the connection because my grandmother was a light-skinned woman, really full and robust, full-figured. And my mother was this tiny little chocolate drop. So still being 5 and 6, I didn't get that connection that that wasn't the same woman. Well, my grandmother told me that my mother was coming to visit us when I was 6 years old. And here she was. She came to visit us, and God, she looked amazing. She was this beautiful, dark-complected woman that just, her presence itself just was like, wow. Looking at her, I was just amazed at who she was, still not knowing that this was my biological mother. Then at 6 years old, that was dropped on me, that that is your real mother. So my first thought was, well, wait a minute. If this was my real mother, why am I living here with this woman who's my mother's mother? What did I do that was so wrong to be so unloved that this woman didn't want me? That was my first thought at age 6, that it must have been something wrong with me, that this woman would leave me along with this other woman. So I still did not comprehend the reason. Well, as years went on, I found out my mother wanted this career as a singer. My mother had a beautiful voice, and she wanted this career as a singer. And of course, having a little baby wasn't a part of that dream. Now, my father, which some people know, is full-blooded Native American, Seminole Nation. So, of course, I had his little coloring and everything, and always wanted to be dark like my mom. So going on from age 6, my thought was that I wasn't loved because this was a woman who left me in the arms of another woman. So my view of self at age 6 was already diminishing. I already thought of myself as being less than. If my real mother couldn't raise me, didn't love me enough, that she loved being a singer more than she loved me. And on top of all that, I had 2 brothers that she was actually raising. So I'm thinking, what was wrong with Sam? What was wrong with me? So by the time I got into junior high school, I had gained a little weight and was being made fun of. Bullies galore. Because here I am with all these beautiful faces, beautiful figures, and even though I had the smarts, I still felt worthless. I had girls making fun of me, girls befriending me, only for me to find out that the only reason why they were befriending me is because why? I could do homework. I could help with that. I can help you. Oh, come on, Sam. I'm your friend. Come on, come over to the sleepovers. Not realizing that they were catty and giggling at me. But as long as I was doing their homework, I was worthy. So my self-worth again was destroyed because I thought, wow, if I help these girls, okay, maybe they would love me. Maybe they would like me. But not knowing that deep down inside that that meant nothing. So here I am in junior high school, still feeling worthless. So from age 6 to age 15, I felt like crap. Even though my grandmother was a nurturing, loving, giving, devoted woman, I still had a self-esteem problem because I still saw myself as being nothing, as being this person that these girls laughed at being this person that my mother couldn't keep. By high school, I had dropped all the weight, pretty much had that big butt, big boobs, and little waistline. And I thought I was the shit. I really did. I thought I was every man's dream. Then got involved with one guy who tore my self-esteem down to nothing. He told me that I was ugly, that I wasn't worthy of his love, that no one else would want me. No one else would want me but him. And mind you, he was ugly. He was like about 4 years older than me, hadn't graduated high school, had no real job, basically was just laying on his butt doing nothing. But since I loved him, I felt that, wow, this guy has to be good for me some kind of way. I remember one day when I had cooked for him. I was all excited about it because I had never really cooked for anybody before but my grandmother. So I made this wonderful meal for him. I made greens and cornbread, and I was like, yeah, this is going to really make him love me, see my worth, that I'm a cook, that I can be a good woman, a good wife. Okay, so he came home. He sit there. He marveled at the food. And the next thing I knew, and I kid you not, there was a slap across my face. And I wondered, well, wait, what did I do? And I asked him in tears, what did I do? I cooked this marvelous meal for you. What did I do? He told me, well, bitch, I didn't like cornbread. I thought you'd have rolls here. So I'm thinking, wait a minute. I made this perfect meal. Everything I made, you said you liked, including the cornbread. But because you didn't want cornbread today, then my self-worth for this meal was nothing. I went on for 3 years with this man. 3 years of him slapping me, 3 years of him beating me, and 3 years of me keeping this a secret. Never told anyone, not even my mother, not even my grandmother. They would come over and visit me. I would lie about the hits. Oh, I ran into this. Oh, I did this, because I did not see my self-worth. Because at 6 years old, my mother didn't want me. At 15 years old, I had friends that didn't care about me. And then I was in high school, and I had a man that treated me like dirt. So for all that time, I didn't really know who I was, what I was given, if I could even give to anyone. When I asked my mother years later why she gave me up and preceded her career, she told me, well, I don't know. I was young too. I saw that I could make something of myself. So I felt like having you, it just wasn't in the cards. She got pregnant and made me know that it was a mistake that she got pregnant. But, oh, get this, but now I love you. I know then it was a mistake, but now I realize I made a mistake. Well, hell, 6 years old, when you tell a child that I'd rather be a singer than be your mother, what self-esteem was I supposed to have at 6? Like I said, yes, my grandmother was nurturing, loving, giving, but that was nothing like a mother's love. That was nothing like knowing that this mother that I had was going to love me forever. And then needing the support, needing to be accepted in junior high school, didn't even have that. And then thinking that this man that I adored, that I loved, that I needed, treated me like dirt. One day, and I'll never forget it, I prayed. I got on my knees and I said, God, you need to get me out of this relationship, because one day or another, he's going to kill me. Well, God answered my prayers by him breaking my jawbone. So I went to the emergency room, and when my mother and grandmother walked in, my face was so distorted that they didn't even know who I was. They looked where I was, and they honestly told the doctor, who is that? That can't be our baby. That's not her. My face was totally just like hamburger meat. He had hit me so hard that he had broke my jawbone. And to this day, it's still a little swollen because it never healed properly. But I still loved him. And I still thought that all this was my fault. Every time he hit me, this must have been my fault. I never realized that he was just a sick, sadistic piece of crap who got his joy and his jollies off of seeing me in pain. So my first thought was, well, if I got on my knees and asked God to get me out of this situation, and then I get beat up, God doesn't love me either. He must give a crap about me as well. Not realizing that God was giving me a message right then that I needed to get up and get out on my own. So the next time he hit me, he beat me up again. And I waited till he went to sleep. And I tied him up to the bed in his drunken stupor. And I decided that it was time for payback. I called my best friend over. Her name was Frederica. And me and Frederica kindly moved everything out the house. I took all of his clothes, what little he had, his boxers, his shirts, his pajamas, and we nailed them all through the house, because I was leaving old boy with nothing but his clothing. I told Frederica to leave. I sit by the bed, and I brought a baseball bat, and I waited till he woke up. And I'm not ashamed to tell you, I beat him, and beat him until the bat broke. After I finished beating him, I took some crazy glue. I put it on his private parts. I closed the tip of it up, glued it to his stomach. glued his behind hole shut, and then I proceeded to call the police with him naked in the bed and told them that he needed help. And I walked out and never looked back. But still, my self-esteem was not there yet. I had just gotten tired of the beatings. Now, I never got any more relationships where anyone beat me anymore, but every relationship that I got in thereafter, I felt that I had to basically fight for their love. I felt like I had to be better to be a part of their lives. And that's just not for males. That's for female friendship as well. I felt like I had to be the one who always gave, because still, being that 6-year-old mentality was there. That 15-year-old mentality was there. That 20-year-old mentality was there. I still felt worthless. I still felt unloved. I still felt like there was something wrong with me, that my mother would just walk away, friends would laugh at me, and a man would beat me. Until one day, I sat down and I realized that I am worthy. That everything that I've gone through has made me who I am today. Everything that I have walked through, the fire, the turmoil, has made me who I am today. And today I am strong, I am vibrant, and I know who I am. And I love me. My whole life changed when I realized my self-worth. My whole life changed when I realized that no one will love me more than me. The only other person that will love me more than me is not even a person, it's God above. And I knew that I had to love me, that I was responsible for everything from that day on that happened in my life. That if I didn't gear up and get myself together, that life for me would always be drama. Life for me would always be unsupportive. Life for me would always be something that I had to grab for. So finally I decided, you know what? The hell with this. I've got to love me no matter what. And let me tell you, a lot of things that I don't go personally to, because tonight I feel like I should. I've had a weight problem on and off, up and down all my life, where people would look at me and I would think, God, why are they looking at me like this? Is it really, am I really just a fat girl? Am I really just someone that should be ashamed of who I am? Should I be ashamed of the fact that my butt is too big? Should I be ashamed that my boobs are like out there? Should I be ashamed of that? Or should I take glory and take responsibility for the fact that I am a beautiful woman? I stand firm and tall. If you can't accept me, then that's your issue, not mine. I had to learn that who I am on the inside does not define who I am on the outside. What you see is not all of what I am. I am a strong person, and I had to become strong. And the only way that I became strong was to love me. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I love myself. I know I love myself. I love me. But do you really? Do you really love you? Because I even see in Second Life where some women, and please ladies, don't call me out on this, but it's true, where some women would get fake boobs or fake behinds. Because why? You're still not in love with who you are. Now, if you're doing it just because you want to be beautiful, there's nothing wrong with that. But remember, if you showing up looking all beautiful, your clothes looking all right, hair's all right, but you still got a nasty ass attitude, you still don't love yourself. If you're waiting for someone to love you for who you are on the outside, you're going to be waiting a long, long time. Because once you open up your mouth and it shows who you really are, is it coming out with love for self? Or are you just being a bougie bitch? Point blank. Loving yourself means that you will risk everything to get what you want, no matter how big or how small. Loving yourself means that if this brother doesn't care about you and beating your butt, you move on to the next one. And hey, Why even move on to the next one? No one defines who you are. You can be alone in a world and still have everyone at your feet. You don't have to have a man at your feet, or for that matter, you don't have to have a woman at your feet to define who you are as a person. Yes, it's nice to have a person to love you and to look at you, but shouldn't you love you first before even getting mixed up in a relationship? Shouldn't you love who you are before you ask someone else to love you too? Because if you don't love yourself, that person can love you all day and night, but it will never give you the self-worth that you have. It will never make you the man or the woman that you are, because someone else loving you will never be as much as you loving you. You have to love who you are. You have to embrace the person that you are. And if you feel that the person that you are you can't love, then you need to make a change. You need to change the person who you are within yourself to make yourself be loved. You have to. I remember a friend of mine who was telling me that her husband was leaving her, and he was leaving her for a girl that was much younger, much prettier, but way more stupid. You know, those kind. And I told her, okay, so what are you going to do? Oh, I'm really thinking about getting me some plastic surgery. I'm like, you really are thinking about getting plastic surgery for a man who's defining you by how you look? Not the fact that you kept his house clean, not the fact that you gave him 2 children, not the fact that you helped him put him through college. All that means nothing, right? The fact that he wants you to have a smaller waist and bigger boobs and bigger butt and your boobs a little bit up and your eyes a little bit different. So you're defining yourself behind that. And I got mad with her because I'm thinking, you did so much for this man and you're still allowing him to make you less than who you are. You're still allowing him to make you look at yourself and question who you are. And she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman, but come on, after a couple of children, of course your body's not going to be the same. Your boobs are not going to be as high. Your butt's not going to be as high. Your hips are going to flex out. Your waistline ain't going to be tiny. That's just the way it is. Unless your body's structured that way, and you'll always be that way. But when you let someone tell you that you need to get plastic surgery for their benefit, then that's not loving yourself. That's loving them more than you. Now, I'm telling you, I know I can't speak about this for a whole hour. Cannot. Because it's up to you to feel that way. It's up to you to love yourself. I can sit here all day and tell you, you know you need to love yourself. You know you need to do this. You know you need to do that. But that's meaningless until you do it. But let me explain one thing that I know. The first walk to loving yourself is your walk with God. Because if you team up with God and you believe in Him, loving yourself comes so easy. If you put your hands in His hands and ask Him to guide you and ask Him to show you the way to go, loving yourself becomes so easy. If you let Him direct your life and show you who your friends are, who your friends aren't, who you should be with, who you shouldn't be with, oh wow, your life becomes so much easier. I have a goddaughter who's here tonight, and I'm not going to call her out. But her zest for life just is phenomenal. She's gone through so much. And I look at her and she doesn't know that I look at her and I am like, wow. She gives me so much hope because of so much that she's gone through at such a tender age. And she still can keep her happiness, still can keep her self-esteem, and still walk proud with her head up. That's a person that loves themselves. Candy is another one. Candy, I have known her for years, and this woman loves herself. She loves herself unconditionally because that's what you have to do. Once you put a condition on how you feel about yourself, then you might as well just give up. You might as well let someone else direct your life. How would you feel if someone came to you and said, you know what? I'm about to direct your life. I'm about to tell you what you're going to do. I'm about to tell you how to eat, how to sleep, how to get up, how to go to bed, what to do, how to dress, how to work. How would you feel if someone came in your life and just took it over? Just, that's it. You just sit down and I'll tell you what to do. Would you feel that that would be a positive thing for you? Oh, yeah, well, now I don't have to worry about thinking anymore. I'll just let you go ahead and do it. You tell me what to do. Or would you think that, wait a minute, hold on, wait, back up. This is my life. This is my destiny. I'm going to be the one who is in charge of it. I'm the captain. I'm the coach. This is me. Well, when you allow someone else to dictate to you of how you should feel about you, when you allow someone else to strip you of your dignity, of your love for who you are, of your worthiness, then guess what? You are basically telling them, I don't love me. You go ahead and tell me what to do. You tell me how to love myself. And that also goes for your children. If you're an adult and your kids are basically telling you and running you, and you're letting them do what they need to do, then it's time to start some tough love and go, you know what? No, I love me. And just like my mom used to always tell me, I'll take you out if I brought you in here. No, I'm kidding about that part, but you have to always devote your time, your love to you. Ladies, get a pedicure. Even if it's once a month. Get a pedicure. Get your nails done. Be good to yourself. Make sure that you're handled. Make sure that you're taken care of. Because if my grandma said, if mama not happy, ain't nobody happy. Make sure you love you. There is nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong with you being able to pamper yourself. Nothing. You have to, because the weight of the world is on your shoulders, especially when you're a woman. Now, men, I'm not saying it ain't on your shoulders too, but when you're a woman, everything is on your shoulders. Your man is on your shoulders. Your children, your job, everything weighs on you. Because when Eve took that apple and took a bite, it made it hard for us women. And we still struggle even today. And being a woman, it's hard to love yourself. It's hard to take that time. But you have to. You have to. I cannot stress how many times that my friends used to always tell me, girl, let's go get our nails done. Girl, let's go get a oh, no, I don't have time for that. Oh, no, I can't afford that. I can't do it right now. I have to wait. So I started realizing, well, wait a minute. What am I working for? What am I spending all this time at my job for? If I can't do what I want to do with my money, if I can't love me enough to get my nails done, to get a pedicure, to get my hair done, then what the hell am I working for? Why am I working if I can't love me enough to do all these things for me? Because a lot of us feel like, oh, wow, I'm taking from my kids if I get my nails done or if I get a pedicure. No, you're not. You're not taking from your children. You're loving yourself enough for your children to see that mommy loves herself. So we need to love ourselves too. Because trust me, children look, they watch, they learn. And if anyone has kids and your child sees you suffering, your child sees someone belittling you, degrading you, making you feel like crap, what do you think your child's going to take up on that? I used to watch my mother when I finally realized who she was get beat. She had 2 boyfriends that would beat her for nothing. Absolutely nothing. My clearest memory is one time she got beat and she ran in the house. And my grandmother, the guy ran behind her. My grandmother literally took him by his collar. Because believe me, my grandmother, you weren't putting your hands on her unless you wanted to, unless you wanted to die. Because that old woman didn't play that. So she literally took him up by his collar, pressed him up against the wall. The first time I ever saw my grandmother get to the point where she was going to break somebody's neck and get violent. And I saw the fear in this man's eyes at age 6. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. You just beat up my mom, but you're fearing my grandmother. And the reason he was fearing my grandmother, because my grandmother, he saw, would fight back. Now, I'm not saying that if you had a relationship and a man beats on you to fight back, because we all know that sometimes that could be a dangerous choice, because fighting back can sometimes put you in the grave. But what I'm saying is, if it did come down to it, walk away. Leave. There's no sense of staying. Because there's no way that if I ever got into a fight, fist to fist with any man, that I'm going to be able to handle it. And I know I can't. Unless he's drunk and I tie him up and beat the shit out of him. Then, maybe. Otherwise, no. Love who you are. Grasp hold to who you are. I cannot stress that enough. I can't tell you how long my journey was, because it was my journey. Your journey may be shorter than mine. I may have a room full of people right now who love who they are right now, who are amazed and no one could tell you anything different. But I can only tell you what I went through for years, how I looked at myself and how I felt about myself and how I am now. Now, I think I'm all that in a bag of chips. I really do. I walk around with confidence. My head is always held up high. I don't care whether my weight is up or down, sideways, whatever. I'm going to always look at me and walk with pride. My head will always stay up. A year ago, I had surgery. I almost died. I had found out when I went to the doctor that I had something in my stomach the size of an orange, and it was about to burst. And the doctor was telling me, you're going to have surgery. I'm like, huh? What? Okay, I'll come back in a week. He's like, a week? No. You have to have surgery. I'm like, what? Surgery? What's that? Okay. Seriously, I did not comprehend the fact that I had to have surgery right then and there. I had no clue. I was like arguing with the doctor that, yeah, well, on my off day, I'll come in and we'll get that handled. I had to realize that I had to love me right then and there to get that surgery, because I was scared. And it took me almost a year to heal. Almost a year of struggling, getting it together, honestly wishing it was all over, wishing that I could just go to sleep and wake up when everything was good. But I had to maintain that love for myself to be able to go through that. I cannot tell you how honored I am today to be able to stand here before you and speak about how I feel about me. It tears me up because I see so many women who don't love themselves, who struggle with that, who beat themselves up, and it hurts me because all in all, we are sisters. We are women, and we are supposed to be the stronger sex. Now, not strength as far as power, but strength as far as caring for each other, loving each other. So when it comes to loving yourself, I want to stress also to love your sister. To love your sister as if she were you. We have got to be more tolerant of each other. We have got to start looking at each other as a mirror. We have got to stop judging each other. Each woman has a separate step to go, a separate path. We have got to start loving one another and seeing that if your sister is hurting, you're hurting. The reason why most of us join a sorority is because you want to have that sister connection. That's the reason why I joined. That's the reason why I joined NGR, the reason why I joined High Society, because I wanted a sister connection. I wanted someone or a group of women who thought like I thought, who looked at things like I looked at things. But then I thought, you know what? That's not what I want. I want a group of women who think differently from me, who can teach me, who can make me see what I don't see. And I've got that. I have really been blessed of having a group of women who see things differently, that when we talk, we can all say that, okay, you know what? This is cool. What's your idea on that? Yeah. What's your idea on that? Hey, that's good. Because when you all think alike, there is no accomplishment. Because if I don't know the answer and you don't know the answer, there's no answer. But if I don't know the answer and I can ask you and you can tell me what you think, or ask my other sister and she can tell me what she thinks, sooner or later, we're going to come up with an answer. I cannot stress more than anything, because I tell you, I was guilty of it. I would look at another woman and see her issues and go, God, what is wrong with that chick? I wouldn't do that if I was her. That wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be going through that. I wouldn't let that dude do that to me. She must be crazy. But we don't know what path she's walking. Instead of me talking about her, I should have gotten her box and said, sister, is there anything you need to talk about? Is there any advice I can give you? Do you need to cry? Do you need to vent? Do you need to scream? Because loving yourself also means loving your fellow sisters, also means putting support towards them. And trust me, I need a lot of support. I need one day sometimes to call up somebody and say, hey, you know what, I got an issue here. Can I kind of like go over with you and you tell me what you think? And if we come with the same answer and I still think it's wrong, let's go to this one and we'll see what she thinks. Because that's a part of a sisterhood. That's what you're there for, to be strong together. Doesn't take away from your independence. That's not what a sorority is. It's to basically make you all think, make you all appreciate each other, make you all love one another. Because if you can't love each other as women, and if you can't take the sisterhood seriously, then there is no point in being in a sorority. There is no point in being in a club of women. And that goes for my guys too. I'm your sister too. If you ever need to talk to me, I'm here. Although sometimes I really think you need to go to your women if you got the woman to go to. But if I ever can be there for my brothers, I want to be there for my brothers too. Now, I only got, 20 more minutes to speak. And if anyone has a question for me, which you probably don't, but if anyone has a question for me, please feel free to ask it. Oh, Rima, go ahead. She's in my box saying she has a question. Go ahead. You're right. There is no one that's like you. But then again, there is. Because if you think about it, there are some big girls around there. I honestly have seen a lot of plus size women. It's not either, you're probably not looking in the right place, because there are plus size models who are gorgeous and who are happy who they are. There are some plus size actresses. There are plus size singers. They're not a lot, but there are some. And I do agree with you. Society has a lot to do with how you look at yourself. Because when you sit your child down, and that's another thing, when you sit your child down in front of the television and you tell them, okay, this is okay to watch, go ahead and watch this, then you're basically telling them that that's what they should watch. And you're basically agreeing with everything. Instead of doing that, you need to tell your child yourself how precious they are, how important they are, how fantastic they are. I was in the store the other day, and this little chunky girl, she was so cute, and she told her mom, I want some cookies. And her mom said, you're too fat. You can't have those cookies. I was so pissed, but I had to stay in my place. I had to back off, because I was thinking, instead of saying you're too fat, you can't have those cookies, why don't you say, you know what, babe? Let's get something else sweet for you. Maybe the cookies aren't that good. let's go ahead and get you something else that's maybe a little bit sweeter than those cookies. Or let's see if we can get some more kind of cookies. If you're really thinking about your child's weight, then maybe you should scoot them over to the sugar-free cookies instead of saying you're too fat, you don't need those cookies. But that's a part of parenting. That's a part of an individual's how they do their child. Because if I had a chunky kid, I would never say you're too fat. I would try to ease them someplace else to the sugar-free and go, you know what? These are more expensive. These are better. Watch, because mommy's going to eat them with you. These are a lot better, more expensive. Yeah, rich people eat these. You can always steer a child how you want a child to go. That's a part of being an adult. But there are people out there that are plus size. Loving yourself, you're right. It comes from within. But if you don't have anyone who builds you up, you have to build up yourself. That's why I said at 6 years old, I didn't know. I felt like nobody loved me, even though my grandmother was just God awesome, God rest her soul. She was an awesome nurturer, just a wonderful person. But the fact that my mom, I just didn't see things that way. But you have to, there are people that you can see that are plus size. They're coming up all over the place. There's one actress, she's a comedian, she's funny, and I love her. There are a lot of plus size models, love them, gorgeous. You can't just look at what society's throwing you. I mean, I know it's hard to say because that's the way it is, but when you get in the virtual world and you start looking different, then you're basically accepting it too. Because when you get in the virtual world and you're not yourself, and not to say that you can't be pretty, you can't be thin, you can't be skinny, or you can't do this, because in real life, I'm not this petite, but I got that big booty and I got them big boobs and I got them here too. The only thing I don't have is that blonde hair, because sister ain't dyeing her hair blonde in real life. That ain't happening. But here, I will give myself, that little bitty shapely, waistline. But the booty and the boobies ain't going nowhere. That's, I love it. So I'm going to keep them like that. But that mess, we'll talk about that on my talk show one time about that mesh. I ain't want to get into that because we're not going to discuss it. I'll do that later. Lulu has a question too. Go ahead, Lulu. When I first started playing SL 2004, I was not myself. My avatar was everything but me. And what I mean by that is persona. I used to make up a whole persona for my avatar that was totally different from me, because even though I love me, I didn't think anyone could accept my craziness and my all over the place and me blah, 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 how I am, because you guys that know me know that I'm all over the place. So each time I made an avatar, I gave her a different persona. And when I gave her a different persona, no one really knew who I was because that avatar wasn't me. So they looked at that like being who I was, because most of us say, oh yeah, I'm the same way I am when I'm off the game, which we all know usually is a lie. Because when you're in here, you're on your best and you're on your P's and Q's, and you're going to do things a little bit differently because you want people to look at you like, wow, and it's true. So the best way of doing that is basically just being yourself. You can't not allow anyone to define who you are by that avatar, because an avatar is just that, a fantasy. That's what we're all in here for, basically. We're in here to role play. That's why when someone told me when they're in here they don't role play, then what the hell are you doing in here? Because you know good and damn well that if you're not role playing, what's the point of being in SL? Now I know some people do it as for business, but it's still the same thing. It is still business. You're still role playing a business owner. Your ass don't own no business outside the game. So you still a business owner. When you're a maternity doctor, what degree did you get to be a doctor? You're still role playing. So when people say that, oh yeah, but honestly, the best thing to me to be is that when you are yourself here, some people may not accept who you are. So those, you basically cut cards and move on. Because I've learned that a lot of people can't take my mouth. They can't. They get pissed off. I talk too much. I'm too blunt. Well, you know what? Move about then, because I'm not going to change. I'm not going to make another avatar to be something I'm not. You know, this avatar is so much like me as far as the mouth and everything and blah, 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 blah. This is me. What you see when I talk, that's who I am. And a lot of people don't like me like this. They think I got a big mouth. They think I'm too brassy, that I need to tone down, that, I need to be more careful of people's feelings. I'm sorry, but if you ask me something, I'm going to tell you the truth. If you don't like the truth, don't ask me, because there's no point in coming to me. So you have to be who you are. Love you too, girl. Elle, you said you had a I heard that, LL, and that is one. I'm telling you. To me, Jill Scott is beautiful. She is thick and just gorgeous. Her persona, her personality. I mean, I don't know if that's really how she really is, but she seems to have such a beauty about her, and she loves who she is. And that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Elle. I'm so glad you said that. That's what I'm talking about, because Jill Scott, I love the fact that the woman is talented. It ain't fake talent, it's real talent. She can act, she can sing, and to me, she's just beautiful. She's a thick woman and she wears it well. There are so many women that are what society call big girls, plus size women, that really just are amazing. They're amazing women. I have a friend that plays here that's going to be doing a plus size. She's going to be started doing plus size avatars and doing a blog for plus size women, for clothing. I thought, wow, you know what? That's a really good idea, because that's something I don't think has been done yet. If it's done, it's been on real low key. But I think that is just beautiful, because no one should let their weight define who they are. And that, it doesn't matter if you're skinny, if you're fat, if you're plus size, if you're thin, if you got, if you're Beyonce, whatever, because we all are women. Even Beyonce, I'm sure, goes to bed some nights and she has to put on the fake hair. So she is not all that either. Because when you got to start wearing your hair fake and stuff and putting on all that makeup, because we've all seen Beyonce without her makeup. Ain't hating on her, even though she got my man Jay-Z. Ain't hating on her, but still, Beyonce's not perfect either. There is no such thing as a perfect woman. There is no perfect woman living, breathing. Let's face it. Because most of the women that you see on TV are makeup down. I seen, what is her name? Oh, God. She's a model. She's kind of thick. Tyra. I seen Tyra without makeup on, and Lord have mercy. That scared the shit out of me. Excuse me, but it did. So no one is perfect. No one. I don't wear makeup. I don't think I need to. I think I'm beautiful without the makeup. So I don't wear makeup. Yeah, I get my hair done. I ain't gonna lie. I should go natural, but I don't go natural. I don't. I should, but I don't. But we all have something about us that, we need to grasp hold and love about ourselves. We all have that. We all have something that we want to change. We do. I mean, let's face it. We all got something, but instead of trying to change it, love it. Embrace it. Embrace your differences as women. Because if we were all alike, I wouldn't want to be friends with someone who was just like me. What would they have to give me to the table? What would they have to give me if they were all like me? Nothing. If Isis was just like me, Isis would have nothing to give me as a friend. If Lulu was like me, if my goddaughter was like me, anyone in this room, Candy, Stacy, if anyone, everybody, AC, if you all were like me, you would have nothing to give me as a friend, because we basically would be clones. If my mom was like me, she wouldn't have anything to give me. We would all be clones, and I don't want to be a clone. I want to be my own individual person. I don't mind the fact if you ask me, girl, where you got your hair, where you got your clothes, where you got your shoes, I'll tell you. But you're not getting my body. You're not getting my shape. That belongs to Sugar. I ain't giving that up. But I'll give you anything else you want to know. You can have it. Hair, whatever, jewels, I don't care. I'll take you to go get it. May even buy it. But as far as who I am, and that goes not just in game, but outside of game, I love being who I am. I love me. I adore who I am. It took me a long time to get in this part of my life. Yeah, exactly. Stacy knows, as long as you don't wear a mesh. Now, some of you back there know, this is actually a mesh dress I have on. Let me turn around so you can see it. Yeah, mesh dress. See? I actually put on a mess dress. Yes. Thanks to Isis, who basically showed me this dress, and I had to put it on. Lulu has another. No, Lulu, go ahead. Ask it. Well, when I was coming out of my relationship that was abusive, it was mentally and it was physically abusive. And the only thing, honestly, that I came out of it, I kept on my knees a lot. I prayed for strength. I prayed for guidance. I know sometimes that for some people doesn't help, but I would say that the best way of doing it is getting with someone who knows what you're going through, getting for someone that really is willing to really talk to you about it. Not somebody just going to get to you and talk to you and dig for information because they want to talk about it or because they want to make fun of you. Not that, but someone who truly wants to help you and truly wants to be there for you and truly wants to guide you in the right direction. Because if you have someone that's gone through the same thing you've gone through, they may not have total full answers for you, but at least they can be supportive. They know what you've gone through. If you need to cry together, you can. If you need to laugh together, you can. You can share stories. Sometimes it just feels good to hear someone else, and not that you're basically feeling good off their pain, but to feel good that someone else went through what you went through, and they're doing okay, that they're living and they're being a better person. Because the truth of the matter is, abuse is going to always sting you. Even now, I still think about it. I mean, I'm not in the place now where I feel less of who I am, but I still think about what I went through. I mean, I went through 3 years of serious abuse and I had to really go through it, but I never had anyone that I could talk to, because the one person I did trust to talk to, she basically only wanted it for information to get close to me to use it against me. So I would say get someone that you really, really know. And Lulu, if you need somebody to talk to, you already know you can hit up my box. You already know you can, because a lot of people don't even know that I went through abuse. They don't even know I went through it because I don't really talk about it. It's nothing I'm ashamed of, because it made me who I am right now. It made me love me even more. It didn't make me any less of who I am. And being abused mentally or physically doesn't make you less of who you are. It's only that person's problem. They need to be abusive to make themselves feel better. It's got nothing to do with you. And that's the first thing I tell people. When you're abused, it's got something to do with them. It's their issues. You need to look outside of that and know that it's them, because people can be not just physically, but emotionally, mentally. People can use words that can hurt you, and not just relationships. Friends can do it too. Friends can make you cry. They can know what your weakness is, and they can tear you down with it. That's why you have to pick and choose who your friends are. You have to pick and choose the people you let know your personal business, because let's face it, we as women will take that and we'll run with it and we'll put through it like a knife and turn it, because that's how sometimes we get catty like that. But you need to be supportive of each other, because I know what I went through. If somebody came to me and wanted to talk, Lord knows I am open book for that. I don't mind talking about it. I would want to inspire and let someone else know that it'll be okay. One day your chip is going to come in and you're going to wake up and go, you know what? Why the hell am I worried about this? I need to move on with my life and get my gorgeous, beautiful self together. Because let me tell you, kitten, you do not need to be abused by anyone. You are your own captain of your own ship. And as Candy said, she didn't want me to go overtime, so it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to end. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. You do not know. You guys have really made me feel so good about this. If you just want to talk to me, tell me a joke, send me cupcakes, send me watermelon with sugar. I really appreciate it. Mwah. Thank you so much. Sugar kisses.